introduce to you the man of the hour, Tony.
Hello and welcome to At the Gates. I am your host, Tony, with the big D. That's right, I'm in Detroit. And I am outside of Gate C at Comerica Park. Pretty much towards left field, right across the street from Ford Field. And I just did a tour, unexpectedly, of the ballpark here. I was buying a hard ticket because I won a hard ticket from every stadium, and this is a big screw you to the Los Angeles Dodgers, who made that impossible since they don't have hard tickets anymore. I'm giving you the finger. Thanks a lot, LA. Anywho, as I was getting my hard ticket here at Detroit, sorry about the loud noises. There is a truck that's parked right outside of Ford Field that's just being nice and loud. As I was buying my ticket, a person walked over and asked if he had enough people for the tour. And he was the tour guide. I then asked how much the tour was, and he said $5. So I decided, you know what, for $5, I think I can swing it. So I ended up doing the 1.5 hour tour and got to see inside the stadium before even going in for a baseball game. So it's kind of nice to do a little scouting. Saw the netting situation, which is very, not ideal. So let's just say it is high, and it goes pretty much all the way down foul territory, at least down into kind of the corner. So there's maybe 70 feet of open area. I'm thinking that guys will throw it over and it'll be just past the end of the dugouts, but it's not going to be anywhere close to the front like I had thought, because the nets are tall. It would literally have to be directly up. So I think I got a good seat though, because I am right next to the dugout on the opposite end, so closer to home plate, right next to the Tigers. And the reason why I think that might be good is because Ron Gardenhire is the coach of the Tigers now, and I really like him. He's been a decent dude to me in the past. So fingers crossed, maybe I can work some Minnesota magic and get a game ball. It would be especially nice because there may be some special game balls used today commemorating the 50th anniversary of their World Series win over the St. Louis Cardinals, who just happened to be playing today. If that is being used, I will have luckily stumbled onto a commemorative without even knowing that those were going to be used, which would be pretty dang sweet. I'm hoping that's the case, but I'm not counting on it. It would just be a bonus at this point. I'm not going to stress out too much about it. I'd still like to get a game ball no matter what, but it is what it is. I'll be sitting in section, I believe it's 119, in case you want to look that up. I think it's row 4, seat 15. And like I said, that is literally right next to the dugout. As for Detroit, I came in yesterday, went and did a whirlwind of sites, well, really hot spots for me. That is vegan restaurants and record stores. So within 3 hours, I hit 3 record stores and 2 restaurants. So I think I did a bit of damage. It was fun. Detroit isn't as I don't want to say dirty or unclean or anything, but it's not as much of a disaster as what I had thought. But it is also kind of a ghost town. I like it. It seems decent enough. It also seems like it can be pretty sketchy once you get outside of the close downtown area. But I'm also glad that I ended up staying the night about 2 hours outside of Detroit, because in the evening I actually drove over to Bellevue, Michigan, and saw where I have some relatives buried. And I had gone there numerous times in the past because that's where my great-grandparents lived, and I got to see them when they were alive and also be there for their funerals. And then also got to see where my grandpa is buried. We brought him there 2 years ago for his funeral. So it was good going out there. I was gonna say nice, but it's not so much that it's nice, because I'd much rather have those people alive. But so is life. So I think the next best thing is that it was a good experience. It was nice to go back to that small little neighborhood, less than 1,300 people in that town, and just see the place that I remember as a kid, and that I last saw a couple of years ago. And then in the morning, came right back over into Detroit, went to another place to eat, then came right over to the ballpark and was plenty early, did the 1 p.m. tour, and then I am sitting here talking, saying nothing really. First impressions is that if I were to have to rank these 3 stadiums that I've been to so far, the 3 that are new to me, I would say Comerica and Progressive are fairly close. I might have to give the edge slightly to Comerica, just because I really like the way that the Tigers branded themselves all around the stadium, and having those giant tiger statues are really cool. It's not obnoxious, it's not obscene. They worked it in very nicely, I think. I think that even the Twins could do a little bit more of that, rather than just having TC or something. I think there's a way to nicely incorporate logos and motifs into the actual structure and into the finer details, much like they have done here at Comerica Park, whether it is the color or the tiger itself. I also do really like some of the statues that they have. I didn't get to see those up close yet, but from what I saw when I was roaming around the stadium, they looked really, really nice. And then there's Rogers Center. Not that it's bad, but it's much closer to a dome than a retractable stadium. I mean, a retractable stadium, in my mind, when it's done nicely, would be like Safeco or even Minute Maid. But Rogers Center is much more like a dome that had its dome lopped off and replaced with, a retractable roof, which, I mean, that's basically what it is. It's functional. It has some nice sight lines, but the seating, the bowl area, just isn't up to the rest of the league when it has that modern retro feel or having unique quirks. It's just very vanilla, pretty much a circle of chairs. And it also has a lot of dead spots in the outfield, which, not just for ball hawking, just for even feeling like you're close to the action, is not ideal. I know that here at Comerica, left field is pretty less than ideal, but that's because the bullpen area used to actually still be in play, but they wanted to shorten the fences, so they moved the bullpens into that dead area, and they turned it into something functional, but it still makes people feel a little bit further away and eats up a lot of those home runs. Center field has the batter's eye. I'm still not exactly a fan of it because, one, you could have more seats, and two, I just think that that's overrated. There's been stadiums in the past where you have people that can sit there or make it into something else, but it is what it is. Progressive. Let's go back to that. I thought it was fairly decent. I think it's actually a lot like Comerica here, but without some of the branding or without some of the tie-ins to the local club. We all know what that name is, which that's actually kind of a good thing, because if it had too much to do with that team's name, it wouldn't be the best. But having more of the team colors or having some more of the history would be good. I really do like that Hall of Fame Monument Park area in center field, but I just think the Tigers have the edge because it's a lot more spread out here. It's not just in one focused area. So I guess that means that once I enter the stadium here for a game, I will have been to every stadium except for Miami. I still do have to go back to both of the New Yorks and Boston to catch a ball because I haven't caught a ball at those three stadiums. But beyond those three plus Miami, hopefully my 26th stadium catching a baseball is Comerica Park. I brought a cup trick, which I think I'm going to include that as either its own video, a really short one, or put it into the YouTube video. It's a very wonky and homemade cup trick, but I kind of like it because essentially I used nothing but duct tape, coins, a plastic bag, and an ice cream container. That is, and rubber bands, I should say. So if you want to MacGyver a cup trick, it's very possible, and I can show you how in that tutorial. That is Baseball Road Tripper on youtube.com. Check it out. But enough of the self-pimpery. One stadium left. Really a little bit more than probably about 36 hours left on this vacation, this trip. I have a little bit of a drive after this game, get close to Muskegon, Michigan, which is on Lake Michigan, kind of halfway up the coast, which in the morning I will wake up, get on a boat for, I want to say it's like 3.5 hours, and float across Lake Michigan over and port in Milwaukee. And once there, I will hit up a record store that I've been to a couple times because I really like it, Acme Records. Shout out, Acme Records. Go check it out. Bayview. Might pick up a slice of pizza from Classic Slice. Shout out Classic Slice. What's up? Also in Bayview. And then go to the Brewers and Giants game. One, I haven't caught a game ball at Milwaukee yet. Not that I need to, but considering that it's only that in Texas that I haven't done, I might as well try. And two, since the Giants are in town, maybe, just maybe, they brought their commemorative baseballs with them. Maybe, if I'm lucky. I've seen them bring them to other stadiums, so it is possible, but it's not exactly early on their road trip. So we'll see. If they do, that would be fantastic. I would really love that. I would not have the complete set from this year because the Rays did not bring them to either Minnesota or Toronto. But all except one ain't bad. I think that's 6 out of 7. I'd take that. I'm even taking 5 out of 7. This Giants one would just be a bonus. And then after that, just a drive home. So I get to do land, air, and sea travel for baseball games this year. I mean, I know it's technically not a sea; it's a lake, but I mean, I'm going by boat for part of this road trip, so that's something unique. I've also done land, obviously. I mean, road trip, but I also did get to take the subway in Toronto, so that's not nothing. That's a new experience for me. I mean, new experience for me to take it to a baseball game, not necessarily a new experience for being on any type of subway. Shout out Subway sandwiches. Actually, not really, because they're not good. And sorry, Jared. And then I did air, which is pretty obvious. I mean, Jared and I flew out to LA, flew out to Denver, and flew back home. And then I think I'm also going to try another form of transportation, which I haven't done yet this year, and I'm slacking, and that's going to be taking a bike. I'm going to, I believe, unless it rains, I will bike to the last game of the year at Minnesota in, I think it's September 30th, that's Sunday, unless they make the playoffs. Oh, that was a funny joke. Yeah. I think it's kind of fun to do these different modes of transportation. I would really like to maybe one day take a actual train to a game, like a regular non-short-term travel type of train. Actually do one like out on the East Coast, like I did in 2009. But since I didn't get a baseball back then, I can't really count that towards any type of travel for getting a ball. And then obviously I've done by foot. I mean, I walk to some of these games, at least from parking lots and stuff. So if there's another form of transportation that I'm not thinking of, I think that you should let me know. Ooh, maybe rollerblades? That'd be pretty sweet. Be a rollerblading fiend. Skiing. I could have almost done that earlier this year with those snowouts, but if I'm skiing to a game, they're probably not playing a game. Likewise, if I'm skating to a game with my actual hockey skates, they ain't going to be playing. So yeah, if there's another form that I could do, let me know. Maybe I'll try to do it in 2019 to one of my games. But I think that's it. We're gonna cut it off right at about 20 minutes here, and maybe I'll give you a post-game recap. That's if you're good and you say your P's and Q's, which stands for pancakes and Quaker Oats. Yeah, pancakes and Quaker Oats. So eat your breakfast and I'll come back. Post game recap. Let's see. There was BP today. First time this trip. That's kind of nice. The bad part is, just as I suspected, the outfield area, especially left field where I was trying to play, not very good. Those bullpens take up everything. And the home runs that they did hit, I played way too close. I was close to the wall. And the Cardinals were bombing them. That's the luck of the draw. I got one toss-up during then. Toss-up later after the pitchers warmed up from one of the coaches down there. And then I got the first ball that was used, first game ball. And that was from Steve Little, former Twin coach under Ron Gardenhire, who is now with Ron Gardenhire again in Detroit. And that's it. 3. The interesting thing about the game balls is that unless it was a third out ball that was tossed up, all, and I mean all, the other balls were given to the authenticator. The entire game. I had never seen that before. So Detroit, I guess, either sells a lot of balls or does something with them. Seems weird because there wasn't much history going on that night. They weren't using commemoratives. That was kind of expected, but I hope that that wasn't the case. But all the balls that I saw come out of play did not have that nice commemorative logo on there. So if they are using them, it sounds like they're using them tomorrow. Missed it by a day. Oh well. Now I am driving over towards Muskegon. We'll see if I make it all the way. Yeah. Wake up. It's about close to midnight here. And 10:15 cruise tomorrow. Get in local time in Milwaukee at 11:45. They have an hour differential, so it's a 2.5 hour tour of Lake Michigan. But where was I going with that? I don't know. Overall, it was nice. Not great, but still a decent day. It was nice to see some of the former Twin coaches and also talk to them a little bit and get noticed by a few of them, including Gardy himself. I miss those guys. They were good guys. I get that there needed to be a change of guard, but oh well. At least he's back in the league and still a nice dude. I'm trying to think if I have any other thoughts. I don't know that I really do. One more day left. This time tomorrow I will be more than likely done with all of the baseball aspect and maybe starting my drive back. We'll see. See if I want to get to maybe Madison and spend the night there. The game itself tonight was pretty darn fun. Ended up being a 5-3 Tigers win. They got a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth. So, as far as interesting games go, I saw a good one. Then there were some fireworks right afterwards. They had their fireworks show, I guess, every Friday night. Tended to be a little bit closer to Target Field type of fireworks. They were definitely not full size, but they were loud, so that was at least decent. Took some video of that, including a little bit in slow-mo, so hopefully that turns out, looks and sounds cool. But other than that, I mean, it was just an interesting ballpark. I did explore it just a little bit when I was there as well, not just during the tour that I did, but actually during the game too. And if you are going for third out toss-ups, apparently it's free reign. You can just get down towards the dugout, that opening closer to the home plate side, and just run down there, because there were probably at least a dozen kids every half inning going down there, and it actually kind of got annoying. It's just an interesting setup over there, and I get if they want to run down, that happens all over the place in a lot of ballparks. But when the seats next to me and around me were being filled in by kids every half inning, including seats that were already paid for and had people in them, but maybe getting stuff to eat or drink for maybe a half inning of being gone, it was chaos. It was mayhem. So yeah, I guess I didn't really have to pay for those seats down there. Not that they were really that expensive to begin with, but if you're going to a game and it's late in the season like this and the Tigers aren't doing well, save yourself the money, buy a cheap seat, and just get as close as you can, because apparently they don't care. And going back to the balls that I got, if I really wanted to be kind of a sneaky bastard, or just a kind of a dirty dude, I could have kept another 2 or 3 balls, but instead helped out those around me, including the first inning toss-up from the Tigers. Got that, but gave it away right away to a little girl who I thought I was being nice to, but turns out I think that she was fairly used to that, because she kept running down there and I think got another ball or 2 during the game, so that one's on me. But helped out another couple other people, so it was a decent night. It could have been crazier, but you know, I guess I'm reaching that point where it's close enough to the 1,000 and 1 or 2 extra balls here or there. Especially when I'm not close to setting any records or anything crazy. Who really cares? I'm hoping that Milwaukee will be decent to me. I was going to say tomorrow, but it's almost today. 2 minutes until I can say today. So I hope Milwaukee is decent to me, and I can finally cross off that gamer and maybe get that Giants commemorative. We'll see. In the meantime, I will stop my rambling right here, and the last bit of tip that I will give you is, if you are in Michigan, here's the not a sponsor portion of the episode, by the way. If you are in Michigan, get the finest soda that Michigan has produced, and that is Verner's Ginger Ale. It is delicious. I would recommend it every day. It's not like normal ginger ale, like your Canada Dry or things like that. There's a sweetness to it, with just a little bit of a bite. Almost like it's a little bit creamy. it's beautiful. And also, if you're in Michigan, if you go to a 7-Eleven, be on the lookout for a Werner's Slurpee. That's right, a ginger ale Slurpee by Werner's. It was also amazing. So, shout out to Past Tony. Thanks for taking the risk and going to that 7-Eleven. I know that you were contemplating whether or not going, and you made the right choice. So, present Tony thanks you for your service. I guess that's it. And we made it to midnight. So that means that I can officially end this. A day later, the last day of my baseball adventures. From the road in the middle of nowhere, Michigan. Actually, I think coming up on Lansing. This has been the post-game recap. Good night. Sweet dreams.